as the New York Knickerbockers will host the Miami Heat for the first time this season. And you look at the standings with the playoffs less than 2 weeks away. Miami right now pretty much cemented in that #2 seed. The Knicks at the 7th spot, which would mean a possible first-round matchup between these two teams, as all different teams still battling for playoff positioning as we head into the home stretch of this wild and wacky regular season. Good afternoon, everyone. With Jeff Van Gundy, Mike Green on hand, Lisa Salters with us as well. The Miami Heat trying to get that best record. It's going to be tough for them to overtake Chicago, but they have other things on their mind right now, Jeff. Now they're 41-17. Most teams would love to have that record, but this is a team that is championship or bust, and right now there's something amiss.
Well, I think everyone from the coaches down through the players are rightfully concerned with their play since the All-Star break. 14-10 after starting off 27-7. And if you look at their numbers, the scoring is way down. But where they have to get better is they have to start causing more havoc with their ball pressure to ignite their transition offense.
And they could desperately use a quality road win. They've really been struggling on the road. Meanwhile, the Knicks have been terrific at home. Since Mike Woodson took over, they're 13-4. Defense is a big part of that, but the play of Carmelo Anthony right now is off the charts.
Think about it. New York's missing their second and third leading scorers in Stoudemire and Lynn. But because of that, they've simplified what they're doing. They've clarified their rotation, and Carmelo Anthony is delivering in a huge manner. Playing at the 4 position, he and Tyson Chandler have the best 4-5 combination going in the entire league.
And they have been nearly unbeatable at home recently. They've won 9 straight here at Madison Square Garden. As we look at our starting lineups, brought to you by Taco Bell. And for Eric Spoelstra, Udonis Haslem will now be a starter in the front court for the foreseeable future, regular season and the upcoming playoffs. Wade back in the lineup after missing Friday night's game with some ankle problems. Meanwhile, for Mike Woodson, Tyson Chandler manning everything defensively in the middle. Carmelo Anthony playing that 4 spot, and Iman Shumpert, a very talented defensive rookie, playing the 2 guard in the backcourt along with Baron Davis. Our Spanish language version of today's game presented by ESPN Deportes. Use the SAP button on your television. And Jeff, you coached here a long time. You know when this building is alive, when the Knicks have something to cheer about, and there's very few places that can top it. And it's starting to get that right now in recent games here at the Garden.
And especially against the Miami Heat. My hatred of the Heat when I'm in the Garden still stays strong.
You're going to have to try to put that aside.
No, but I'm just saying, when it's against New York, you know, I love their team. But when they come in this building, man, it brings back good and bad memories.
So many great playoff matchups between these two teams over the years. And this is the Heat's only regular season visit to Madison Square Garden. And again, there could be a possible first-round matchup. If the standings stay the way they are in a couple of weeks, that's what would happen as the Knicks win the opening tip. Baron Davis, the point guard. The key for the Knicks right now, they're struggling at that position at times. Carmelo Anthony's first shot won't go. James guarding Anthony to start. But you might have some cross switches, which is always difficult.
Particularly in transition. Carmelo Anthony is guarding as Bosch hits a curl layup. Anthony's guarding Haslem. Fields is guarding James. So in transition, Miami's got to make sure they locate Carmelo Anthony.
Davis off the dribble. Now pulls back. And Baron Davis got hit. Chalmers not pleased with the call. The 33-year-old Davis just had his birthday on Friday and responded with a season-high 18 points. He'll go to the line for 2. And the Knicks have been terrific at home recently, 20-10 on their home floor. And it's the first time they've been 10 games over 500 at home in 11 years. It's the longest home winning streak in 14 years. Hard to believe, but that's the case right now. Mike Woodson has done a fabulous job since taking over. Again, 13-4, and it's so much about defense and about getting certain roles, especially Carmelo Anthony.
Again, sometimes when you lose players, it narrows your rotation down, defines roles and rotations, and everybody now knows the ball's going through Carmelo Anthony. And think about it, a month ago, as Bosh picks up the loose ball and puts it in. A month ago, people were saying, who should be the focal point, Lynn or Anthony? Now, how crazy does that seem?
Anthony is averaging 30 a game in the month of April. He has been just absolutely superb. You saw Shumpert's strip as Anthony gets down low, and he's fouled on the way to the basket. Well, he'll get to the free throw line, but not only is he scoring, but he's shooting a high percentage, something he wasn't doing earlier this year.
And Rodney Mott signaled to our table that the foul occurred. We had to point him in the right direction over to the other scorer's table.
So now you're helping officials.
You know what? As our producer, Tim Corrigan, calls me, I'm the glue right now.
And you see the early part in the season. Part of the numbers, he was banged up in a lot of ways, but now his role clearly defined, the offense all going through him, and he has, you just see the numbers.
But again, there's more room on the floor, and he has a matchup advantage every night on the offensive end as teams are scrambling due to these cross matches. Him going to the 4 is a huge thing, and I think when Stoudemire comes back, he's going to go into the starting lineup, but I think it's going to have a negative impact on Carmelo Anthony.
Landry Fields is on LeBron James. Shumpert goes to help. They get it off to Chalmers. Chalmers back up top. James is straight on 3. He's hearing the boos as Wade nearly tips that in. Knocked out of bounds. Nick Paul. James hearing the boos every time he touches the ball. Stoudemire, by the way, Jeff, may be back this week as Fields turns it over, as the bulging disc in his back. It's been 3 weeks since he's been out. They said 2 to 4 weeks. And there's a possibility of Wednesday return for Stoudemire. As for Jeremy Lin and the knee surgery, perhaps the earliest he would play is if the Knicks would make it to the second round of the playoffs. Chalmers gets inside, kicks it out. James. Good rotations by the Knicks defensively. Bosh the fake. Chandler right on top of him. Bosh has to float up. And Chandler the rebound. The Knicks defense in this 13-4 stretch have held opponents under 89 a game and under 42% shooting. They have been one of the best defensive teams in the league in that stretch. Davis to Anthony, poked away by Wade. 3-on-1 break for the Heat. Wade lobs it. James throws it down. Number 1 on your offensive agenda when you face the Heat, do not turn the ball over. Anthony, fake, inside, tried to reverse. And a good second effort.
And sometimes, and we saw it last week against Chicago, he just tries to get it up on the board so he can get to his second jump and tip it in.
The early chance of defense, Wade's jumper won't go. Davis, another of many players around the league working through injuries. And Shumpert left open. A brick by Shumpert. Chalmers pushes it up.
But there is the value of the cross match. Wide open corner 3 because there was a little miscommunication by Miami defensively. Nice
feed. Wade misses. Chandler fouled him. Cutting to the basket. And Wade will go to the free throw line once he gets up, as Tyson Chandler picks up his first.
Well, they've been double teaming what we call live cutter, meaning coming off the cutter to double. Good find by Bosh. And if you're Shumpert, you want to take Wade all the way to the basket and then double back onto Bosh versus leave early and allow Bosh to see the cutter wide open.
Wade has missed 12 games this year with various injuries as they look at it again.
Yeah, that's too early of a double team and a late rotation over by Chandler. Again, if you take him to the rim, you take away the easy automatic pass to that cutter.
Wade knocks down the second. The Heat, much like Chicago without Derrick Rose, they've played well without him. The Heat have done well, 11-1 without Wade. Ankle and knee nicks and knacks formed during the course of the season.
And I would say, Mike, it's similar to New York. When you take a star out like Wade in the short term, it clarifies, as Anthony hits a tough pull-up, it clarifies where the ball's going more, and it simplifies your rotations.
Shumpert went for the steal. Wade on the pull-up, banks it in. Shumpert last Sunday we were here and did a fabulous job on Derrick Rose. Now he's got to guard Dwayne Wade. Mike Woodson very confident in his rookie and his defensive skills. Davis looking to take Chalmers. That fall away shot's good. Pretty play from Baron Davis. Well, Jeff, as Miami brings it up, they're 25-4 at home. They've been almost unbeatable at home. Why are they only 3 games over 500? What's the biggest difference in their road performance than at home?
Mike, their defense hasn't been quite as good, but it's really been their inconsistent offensive play on the road. You know, they look for periods of time offensively good on the road, but not as many attacks at the basket, more jump shooting, and that's not their forte.
They haven't had a quality road win in a while. They're 3-8 in their last 11 road games. As Fields bounce pass right to James.